Okay. So this is the introduction of the second unit of first stage in animals. So here you are able to see one scientist named as Bichet. Bichet was a French anatomist and physiologist. So he remembered as the father of modern histology and pathology. He coined the term tissue for the first time. Now let us come to know about the anatomy, definition, and histology. What do you mean by anatomy and histology? Already you learned in the first chapter. Okay. Now let us come to know once again what do you mean by anatomy. Anatomy, it is the study of internal arrangement of different organs or organ system in an organism as observed with the naked eye. For example, if you are observing any organism with our naked eye, whatever, either it may be plant or animal, that will be called as the anatomy. Okay. Now, histology. Histology, otherwise called as a microanatomy. It is the study of microscopic structure of the different tissues. Here also we are observing the organism, but with the help of microscope, microscopic anatomy, microanatomy means here we are observing the organism with the help of our organism's tissue with the help of a microscope. That is the histology. Especially when in case of histology, we are observing the tissues with the help of microscope. And pathology, it is the study of the causes and effects of the diseases, pathogens. Usually pathogens, disease causing agents like bacteria, virus. Okay, their structure and their features and their behavior all will be studied in the pathology. Okay, so here the Bichet was the scientist who coined the term tissue for the first time, and he remembered as the father of modern histology and pathology. Why we are here stressing the term tissue means here that in this lesson we are grouping the organisms from the cell level, tissue level. So that is the reason we are starting with the tissue level. The scientist Bichet deeply explained about the tissues and their arrangement, and he coined the term tissue also. Okay, now go for the next slide. Here, organization in animals. What do you mean by organization? Grouping of animals. So here we are grouping the animals based upon their structure. Okay. In the evolution of animals, the major events of significance is the development of tissue. So with the help of the tissues only, the organs are build up their body organs and organ systems. The tissue grade of organization evolved for the first time in cnidarians. So here, let me once again recall the classification of animal kingdom based upon the vertebral column. If the organisms are having the vertebral column, they are the vertebrates. And if the organisms are not having the vertebral column, they are the non-chordates. The classification of the non-chordates, already you have discussed in the 9th and 10th classes. So that will be start from the Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nematohelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, and Echinodermata. And now coming to the classification of the vertebrates. The vertebrates starting from fishes, amphibians, frogs, and reptiles, snakes, aves, birds, mammals. So we all comes under the mammals. So this is a general classification. Here we are grouping the animals, some more extensions with the help of from the tissue level, cellular level, and organ level, and organ system level. Now here you are able to see one pic, that is the amoeba. So it is a well-known pic. Everybody knows very well. It doesn't have a particular shape. And when we are observing the parts of this amoeba, you are able to see only nucleus and vacuoles only. Here, when we are observing clearly, Especially observing any cell, we should know some 3 basic points. The first one is the cytoplasm, and second one is the protoplasm, and third one is the nucleoplasm. Now, let us discuss one by one. Nucleus, which is the main organelle of any cell, will be located in the middle of the cell. Usually, most of the cells are consisting with the nucleus at the place of middle portion. The liquid portion which is present in the nucleus is called as the nucleoplasm. Okay, what we call the nucleus which is having the fluid portion is called as the nucleoplasm, and the cell which is having the liquid portion is known as the cytoplasm. And the third term, which is mentioned as protoplasm, the cytoplasm and as well as the nucleus and other organelles is called as the protoplasm. In case of amoeba, it is a unicellular organism, means it is having only single cell. All the life processes like digestion, excretion, reproduction, everything will be done by only the single cell itself. So here the protoplasm itself is useful for do all these activities. So that is the reason we mention it in the protoplasmic level of organization. Okay, you got it? Protoplasmic level of organization means in case of amoeba, it is having only single cell. So due to that reason, it is able to perform all the activities with the help of the protoplasm. Protoplasm means nucleus plus cytoplasm, and the cytoplasm means only the liquid portion, and nucleoplasm means only the liquid portion of the nucleus. Okay. Now, okay, coming to the points. Here, once again, we are repeating the points. In protoplasmic level of organization, the protoplasm itself is able to do all the activities, example amoeba, and cellular level of organization observed in parazoans. Here, one more clarification. Here, the protozoans are made up of with only single cell. Those are known as a unicellular, but multicellular organisms, which are starts from the poriferans. So here we are giving the name metazoans. Meta means which the organisms which are consisting with more number of cells. But in case of poriferans, we are giving the term as the parazoans. Why we are giving the parazoan means even they are having multi cells, they are not able to form the tissues. That is the reason they separately mentioned with a term that is parazoans. The best example for that is the sponges. Okay. Differentiation of tissues. Okay. So here you are able to see one picture, that is how the zygote is differentiated into tissues and how the tissues are engaged with some particular work, and that is known as the differentiation of the tissues. Now, so once again we go for the points. So when the zygote undergoes cleavage, it results in the production of many cells. So by the mitosis cell division process, from the zygote there is chance of production of number of cells. These cells differentiated themselves into different kinds of tissues to perform different functions. And that is mentioned as a division of labor. Division of labor means the functioning of different tissues with some allotted work. Okay. When a cell is marked for a specific function, it is designed to do the specific function only, except the sponges. In case of sponges, they are differ with the remaining phyla. Okay. In the metazoan, mature cells only can perform certain functions. Example, choanocytes. So sponges can stop its normal function of collection of food and can produce gametes. Means the choanocytes, when they are immature, they are able to do the normal functions. But after the maturity of the choanocytes, they are specifically allotted the function of production of the gametes. So in this picture, you are able to see the different types of cells which are loosely arranged without formation of the tissue in case of sponges or parazoans. Okay. Now go for the next slide. Structural organization in animals. So here in this chapter we will discuss level of organization, symmetry, coelom and animal tissues. Now coming to know about the level of organization. Okay. So usually the simplest particle of substances is the atom. By the combination of the atoms, molecules will be produced. By the combination of the molecules, organelles will be formed and which are present in a cell. Here one more clarification: organ, organism and organelle. In a cell, the parts which are present are known as the organelles. And organism means any living being is known as the organism. And organs are made up of with the tissues. So here organelle, cell, tissue, organ system and organism. Okay. Now one by one. Cell, a group of cells, tissue. A group of tissues, organ. A group of organs, organ system. And organ systems coordinate with each other to form an organism. So in this picture also you are able to see clearly how the cells are able to form the tissue and how the tissues are able to form an organ and how the organs are able to form an organ system and how it will be leads to the organism. So this is about the structural organization and how it is useful for formation of the organisms and to know about the organisms in a detailed manner. Here, there are especially 4 types of tissues are present in animals. What are they? Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. So let us discuss one by one. Okay. First, epithelial tissue. The epithelial tissue cover the outer surface of the body organs and act as physical barrier protecting the organs from pathogens. So here the epithelial, the term itself having its definition, epi means upon, the tissue which is covering the outer parts of the body surface and inner parts also, and it acts like a physical barrier and protecting the organs from the pathogens. That is the epithelial tissue. And second one is the connective tissue. Connection. So a connective tissue help in binding and supporting the other tissues, and it is having the connection with almost all the organs in our body. So in this picture, you are able to see how the connective tissue is having with all the other type of organs. Okay. This is about connective tissue. So in this, you are able to see adipose tissue, cartilage, bone, blood, and fibrous, everything, each and every part of our body is almost all muscles, and everywhere it is having the connection. That is the reason it is called as a connective tissue. Again, it is classified into different types that will be discussed in the next class. Okay. Now, muscular tissue. depends on with various types of movements in the body. So usually in our body, for the movement of body parts like hands and legs, every part of our body is made up of a maximum with the muscles. For the movement of hands and legs especially, there is a need of muscular tissue. So here the muscles are striated muscles, non-striated muscles and cardiac muscles. Now here in this picture you are able to see how they are arranged in our body. First go for the cardiac muscle. Otherwise first go for the skeletal muscles. The skeletal muscles which are having the strips in them, striated means strips or stripes, which are present. Due to that reason, they are mentioned as the striated muscles. They are voluntary in function. Means if we are want to move our hands and legs, then only we are able to move our hands and legs. Without our involvement, there is no chance of movement of hands and legs. That is the reason they are called as the voluntary muscles. And the second type is the smooth muscles. Here the structure, when we are observing, they are having the smooth structure. But they are not having strips like structure, and involuntary means without our involvement, the functioning will be happen in them, like digestion, respiration. At the particular places, without our involvement, they will be going to happen in our body. The third one is cardiac muscles, which are having the appearance is just like the striated muscles, but functioning like the non-striated muscles. Means they are having the strips like structures, but the functioning of them is not in our control. That is also involuntary. Okay, these type of muscles will be discussed in the further classes. Now coming to know about the neuron. Neuron is in the nervous system. We will discuss the types of nerve cells. So this upper portion of that neuron portion is called as the cyton, which is having the dendrite-like structures, just like the root-like structures. Okay, but one root is very long in size. That is known as the axon, and the end portion of the axon is known as the terminal dendrites. The nerve impulses from one portion to another portion will be transmitted from terminal end of one neuron's end portion to the another neuron's dendrite portion. The gap placed between these two is called as a synapse. So every system in our body. So in the 10th class, you have learned about the different types of organ systems and their functioning. So every system is having link with the nervous system. Without coordination of the neurons or nervous system, there is no chance of proper functioning of any organ system. So these are very, very important, and these are very special also. Okay. Now all these systems, all these tissues will be discussed in this chapter. Now coming to once again, here already we have discussed that. In this chapter, we will completely discuss about the organization of the animals from the primitive to the higher. Means so every time when we are grouping any organism, we go with from the primitive, and then onwards only we will go for the higher. So here classification means the grouping of organisms or animals or anything from primitive to higher. That is known as a classification. Here also, when we are observing the pyramid structure here, so here the base, the first one is the protoplasmic level, and second one is the cellular level, and third one is the tissue level, fourth one is the organ level, and fifth one is the organ system level. So these are the different types of organization levels, and we will discuss each and every level in a detailed manner in this chapter. Okay. Now, first protoplasmic level of organisms or organization. So here also, when we are observing amoeba, so here already we have discussed just now only the nucleoplasm, cytoplasm and protoplasm. the protoplasm is able to do all the activities. That is the protoplasmic level of organization. So we are grouping such type of animals in the protoplasmic level of organization. Organisms which are made up of just one cell are called unicellular organisms, and their level of body organization is at the lowest and is called protoplasmic level of organization. Means the protoplasm itself able to do all the activities. Okay. Now, cellular level of organization. The second one is a cellular level. So just now only we have discussed that in case of sponges, they are specially grouped as the parajovans. Even though they belong to the metajovans, they are specially arranged as the parajovans. Let us come to know why we are grouping them as the parajovans. Okay. It is the lowest level of organization among the metajovans and is exhibited by the sponges. So in case of metajovan, it is the lowest level. And different types of cells are functionally located due to the absence of sensory and nerve cells. Here, once again, absence of sensory and nerve cells. Due to the lack of sensory and nerve cells, in case of sponges, there is no chance of formation of tissues. These cells are arranged as a loose cells aggregates and do not form tissues. There is a division of labor among the cells. There, in case of other higher metajovans, division of labor among the tissues. But in case of the parajovans, division of labor among the cells means the different types of cells are having different function. They are allotted with the different function. Here you are able to see the amoebocytes and collar cells and how the water is entering. So different types of cells are arranged in a loose manner without coordination of sensory and nerve cells, and there is no chance of formation of the tissue. Okay. So this is the special feature of the parajovans. Now, tissue level of organization. This is the lowest level of organization among the eumetajovans. Here we are giving a specific term that eumetajovans. Eumetajovans means the organisms which are having multi-cells with the formation of the tissue are grouped as the eumetajovans and exhibited by the diploblastic animals like the cnidarians. What is the example for it? Cnidarians are the example for the tissue level of organization. In these animals, the cells which perform the same function are arranged into tissues. The cell of tissue together perform their common function as a highly coordinate unit. The coordination is due to the presence of nerve cells and sensory cells. So due to the presence of nerve cells and sensory cells, formation of tissue is there, and that is known as a tissue level of organization in case of hydra. Okay. Got it? Once again, I am repeating. Tissue level of organization means due to the presence of sensory and nerve cells, in case of cnidarians, there is a formation of the tissue, and the tissue is able to having some specific function, and that is known as the division of labor among the tissues. And the best example for that is the cnidarians, and example organism here is the hydra. Now, organ level of organization. So here, an aggregation of different kinds of tissues which is specialized for function is called an organ. What do you mean by organ? An aggregation of different kinds of tissues which is specialized for a function is called as an organ. Organ level of organization is first observed in the phylum Platyhelminthes. So here you are able to see the Platyhelminthes organism, that is a planaria. Okay. First time, so organs are formed in case of Platyhelminthes. That is the reason here we are calling it as the organ level of organization. an aggregation of different kinds of tissues, which is specialized for a function is called organ, and such type of organization is known as a organ level of organization. Now, organ system level of organization. In organ system level of organization, here it is the highest level of organization among the animals and is exhibited by triploblastic animals such as the nematodes, annelids, and arthropods, echinoderms, and chordates. So we will go for the definitions for the triploblastic and diploblastic in the coming class. Now here we will only discuss the points. Triplo means the organisms which are having the 3 germinal layers, and diplo means the organisms which are having only 2 germinal layers. In triploblastic animals, the evolution of mesoderm resulted structural complexity. Due to the presence of mesoderm, there is a chance of formation of the organ system in case of triploblastic animals. In these animals, the tissues are assembled to form organs and complex of organ systems. Highly specialized. Here we are focusing highly specialized sensory and nerve cells bring about high level of coordination and integration among the various systems to lead an efficient way of life. So usually everybody know, due to the presence of organ system, an organism is able to form an efficient way of life. So this is the level of organization among the organisms. So here the organ system level of organization will be observed in case of higher level of organisms. Means from nematodes and some platform and nematodes and arthropods, molluscans, echinoderms, and chordates. So all these are having the organ system level of organization. So here you are able to see different organ systems like respiratory, digestive, circulatory, and nervous. Every organ system coordinate with each other to lead a better way of life. Okay, why this is going to happen means highly specialized sensory and nerve cells, the hormones which are having link with the nervous system, and the body parts functioning also having link with the nervous system. Due to the coordination of all these will be leads to an efficient way of life in case of organ system level of organization. Okay. Here, to know about the diploblastic and triploblastic, here some important points are given here. Embryonic development stages. So in embryonic development stages, here zygote. How the zygote is formed means by the combination of the gametes. So after the zygote formation, here the zygote will undergo the mitotic cell divisions. What do you mean by mitotic cell divisions? Number will be increased from 1 cell to 2, 2 to 4. Like that, in a sequence manner, the number of cells will be increased. Due to the increased number of the cells, a group of cells formed just like ball-like structure that is known as a morula. And in the next stage, that is the blastula. In blastula stage, here you are able to see a coelom-like structure, a cavity-like structure. Means that is the cells are arranged like the layers. Due to that, a cavity is present that is known as the blastocele. Here in this picture, you are able to see blastocele, and blastocele here due to the invagination, there is a chance of formation of the ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. And the pore is known as the blastopore. And this is known as the last stage of the gastrula. Once again, first of all, zygote. So when zygote participate in the mitotic cell divisions, formation of a group of cells is known as the morula, and then onwards blastula. These two stages look like just like a ball-like structure. And when we come to know about the blastocele, means the arrangement of these such type of innermost cells into layers, a cavity-like structure will be observed that is known as the blastocele. And the cells which undergone the process of invagination, some cells are present to the outer side, which are known as the ectoderm, and innermost are known as the endoderm, and middlely presented cells are known as the mesoderm. And such type of condition will be observed in last gastrula stage. This is how the development will be going on at the time of development of the embryo. And that will be giving a chance of diploblastic animals and triploblastic animals. Let us come to know what are the diploblastic animals and what are the triploblastic animals. Okay. Now, so here you are able to see diploblastic organization. Animals in which the cells arrange in two embryonic layers. Just now only we are discussed about how the embryonic layers will be formed at the time of development of the embryo. Here, animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers, that is the external ectoderm. This is the ectoderm. This is almost completely outside. And internal endoderm, which is completely innerly. And ectoderm gives rise to the epidermis, the outer layer of the body wall. So here you are able to see the ectoderm and endoderm. Endoderm gives rise to gastroderm. So here the endoderm is covering the gut. So here you are able to see endoderm gives rise to gastroderm, is the tissue that lines the gut cavity. Here the endoderm is covering the lining of the gut cavity. And undifferentiated layer. So here in the pink color you are able to see an undifferentiated layer is present, that is known as the mesoglia. So due to the presence of only ecto and endo, undifferentiated mesoglia, such type of animals are grouped as the diploblastic animals, that is the diploblastic organization. The example for this is cnidarians and ctenophores. Okay, diploblastic organization means animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers. Outermost is the external ectoderm and innermost is the internal endoderm, and in between these two a undifferentiated layer is there, that is known as the mesoglia. That is the reason such type of animals are called as the diploblastic animals. The examples for this is the cnidarians and ctenophores. Now, coming to know about the triploblastic organization. Now, in triploblastic organization, animals in which the developing embryo has a third germinal layer, that is a mesoderm. In between the ectoderm and endoderm, the triploblastic animals, the mesoderm will be present. Most of the triploblastic animals have an organ system of organization. Why there is why we are able to say such a thing mean? Due to the presence of mesoderm, actually most of the organs are produced from the mesoderm itself. That is the reason here triploblastic animals, the organisms which are consisting with the three germinal layers, are having the organ system level of organization. Examples: triploblastic animal starts from the platforms to chordates. Okay. So this is the ecto and lowerly endo, and the red color portion is known as the meso. This is the triploblastic level of organization. Got it? Triploblastic animals are having the mesoderm, and most probably in triploblastic animals, due to the presence of mesoderm, organ system level of organization will be observed. The examples for this is platforms to chordates. From platform means to higher chordates, almost all are having the organ system level of organization and triploblastic organization. Now, okay. Shall we go for what we have learned? Okay. So in this class, we have discussed so far about level of organization and germinal layers, and one more thing also, let me explain you, that is a open type of circulation and closed type of circulation. Open type of circulation means the fluid, means especially the blood which is coming out from the heart will be enter into the body cavities without in the form of blood vessels, just like the arteries or veins or capillaries. Such type of circulatory system is known as the open type of circulatory system. Open type of circulatory system will be observed in arthropods and molluscans. And second one is the closed type of circulatory system. Closed type of circulatory system will be observed in annelida and cephalochordates and higher chordates. From annelida to most of the higher chordates, the closed type of circulatory system will be observed. Closed type of circulatory system means the blood which is coming out from the heart will be passing through all body parts with the help of the, just like the blood capillaries and arteries and veins. So that is the closed type of, means the blood is pumping in the body in a closed manner. Okay. Now here once again we go for the what we have learned. Okay. So here we are observing organelles. So organelles means a part of a cell. The parts which are present in a cell are known as organelles. Okay. So protoplasmic level of organelles organization, especially it is having and it is exhibited by the organelles. That is a example phylum is the protozoa. And second one is the cellular grade. Cellular level of organization is observed in phylum Porifera. And the third one is the tissue grade. Tissue grade of organization is observed in the phylum Coelenterata. And organ grade. Organs are firstly formed in the organ grade organization, especially in the phylum Platyhelminthes. And the last, organ system. Organ system grade is observed in higher metazoans. So we discussed all these points in this class regarding the organization of animals. Okay, I hope you understood. Now go for the points once again. Protoplasmic level of organization, cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization, and organ system level of organization. So we have discussed in our class all these things. I hope you understood. You go through textbook and read at least 2 or 3 times and draw all the diagrams and label them with the labeled parts. And then you will have certainly some idea regarding the organization of animals. Okay. And then we go for the assignment. Okay. Here, the first question, the body of sponges does not possess tissue level of, not processor, possess tissue level of organization, though it is made up of thousands of cells. Comment on it. Question I repeat once again. The body of sponges is consisting with a number of cells, even though it is not able to form the tissue level of organization. Why? What would be the answer is there? Yes. So due to lack of sensory and nerve cells, there is no chance of formation of the tissue, and there is no chance of formation of the tissue level of organization. Describe 4 different types of level of organization in metazoans. Just now only we completed it. What are they? Protoplasmic level, cellular level, tissue level, organ level, and organ system level. Animals exhibiting which level of the organization lead to relatively more efficient way of life when compared to those of another levels of organization. Why? Here, way. Yes, exactly. Organ system level of organization is the more efficient way of life comparatively with the other organization of levels in the animals. Because if you are having all the organ system, we are able to live in a better way, and that will lead to a successful way to live in a good condition and good manner. So without having sensory, no use. Without having any circulatory system, no use. Without having any pumping system or circulatory system and any respiratory system, if the respiratory system is not functioning, means totally you are not present on the earth. So this is about the organization of organisms based upon their structures. In the coming next classes, we will discuss how we are able to grouping the animals based upon their coelom, symmetry, and tissues. So what are the different types of tissues are present in them, and what are the different types of symmetries are present in them, and what are the different types of coeloms are present in them will be discussed in the further coming classes. I hope you all understood this class. Thank you. Stop share. Close it.